In the grand tapestry of human history, a profound shift has occurred. As of mid-2023, India has stepped into a new role, becoming the most populous nation on Earth. For the first time since records began, it has surpassed China, a position its neighbor held for centuries. This demographic milestone, arriving years earlier than forecasters had predicted, marks not just a change in numbers, but a pivotal moment in the global story. With a population now exceeding 1.428 billion souls, India is home to nearly 1 in every 6 people on our planet. This is a staggering thought, a testament to the immense scale and vitality of this ancient land. The story behind this transition is one of diverging paths. While China's population has begun a gradual decline, influenced by decades of strict family planning policies, India's continues its upward trajectory. Each day, the country welcomes approximately 86,000 newborns, a vibrant pulse of life that ensures its population will keep growing for decades to come. Projections suggest that India will not reach its peak until around 2064, when its population may touch 1.7 billion. This youthful and expanding populace represents an enormous pool of potential, a dynamic force that will undoubtedly shape the economic, cultural, and environmental future of the 21st century and beyond. This immense human presence is not spread evenly across the subcontinent. Instead, it is intricately woven into the land itself, guided by the contours of mountains, the flow of rivers, and the mercy of the climate. India's geography is a character in its national story, a powerful force that has dictated where great cities would rise, where farmers would till the soil, and where communities would learn to thrive against the odds. Understanding India means understanding its remarkable and varied landscapes, for it is within these diverse environments that the story of its people truly unfolds. It is a story of adaptation, resilience, and an unbreakable bond between humanity and nature. Our journey through India will be a journey through its geography. We will travel from the icy peaks of the world's highest mountains to the sun-scorched sands of a vast desert. We will cross fertile plains that have nurtured civilizations for millennia and explore an ancient plateau that forms the very bedrock of the subcontinent. In each of these distinct regions, we find a unique chapter of India's story, revealing how the land has shaped its people and how, in turn, the people have left their mark upon the land. This exploration is essential to grasping the true scale and a deep understanding of the world's new population king. Our exploration begins in the far north, at the breathtaking rooftop of the world, the Himalayas. This colossal mountain range acts as a great wall, a formidable natural barrier separating the Indian subcontinent from the rest of Asia. These are not old, weathered mountains, they are geologically young and still growing. They were born from a slow-motion but incredibly powerful collision that began around 50 million years ago, when the Indian tectonic plate, drifting northwards, crashed into the Great Eurasian Plate. This immense pressure folded and uplifted the Earth's crust, creating the jagged, snow-covered peaks that continue to rise by a few millimeters every year. India administers a significant portion of this magnificent range, a land of deep valleys and towering summits. It is here that we find Kangchenjunga, the third tallest mountain on Earth, soaring to 8,586 meters in the state of Sikkim. Kangchenjunga holds a special, sacred place in the hearts of the local people. During the first successful ascent in 1955, the climbers, respecting a promise made to the Chogyal, or king of Sikkim, stopped just short of the true summit. This tradition has been honored ever since, making this giant the world's tallest unclimbed peak. It remains a powerful symbol of reverence for nature. Life in the Himalayas is a masterclass in human adaptation. The rugged terrain and harsh climate mean that populations are sparse, clustered in sheltered valleys and on terraced hillsides. Communities have developed unique ways of life, cultivating hardy crops like barley and potatoes at high altitudes and herding animals such as yaks and goats. Their cultures are deeply intertwined with the landscape, with many peaks, lakes, and rivers considered sacred. The mountains are the lifeblood of the subcontinent, as their glaciers and snowmelt feed the great rivers that support hundreds of millions of people downstream, a vital link between the highlands and the plains below. Yet this majestic region faces profound challenges. Its strategic location has led to long-standing and sensitive border disputes between India and its neighbors, making it one of the most militarized mountain regions in the world. Furthermore, the delicate alpine ecosystems are under threat from climate change. Glaciers are receding at an alarming rate, threatening the water security of a vast portion of Asia. Balancing human needs, geopolitical realities, and the preservation of this fragile environment is one of the greatest challenges facing the people of the high Himalayas today. Descending from the Himalayan foothills, we arrive in a completely different world: the vast, flat, and incredibly fertile Indo-Gangetic Plains. This immense region stretches across the northern part of India, a wide arc of land that has been the heartland of South Asian civilization for thousands of years. The plains were formed by the immense work of three mighty rivers, the Indus, the Ganges, and the Brahmaputra. For millions of years, these rivers, fed by the melting snows of the Himalayas, have carried down and deposited trillions of tons of fine, nutrient-rich silt, creating one of the most extensive stretches of alluvium on the planet. This fertile soil is the reason why this region has been a cradle of civilization. Over 4,500 years ago, the Indus Valley civilization flourished here, building some of the world's first planned cities. Since then, successive empires have risen and fallen on these plains, all drawn by the land's incredible capacity to produce food and support large populations. Today, this ancient legacy continues. The Indo-Gangetic Plains are one of the most densely populated areas on Earth. The watershed of its great rivers alone is home to over 900 million people, a staggering concentration of humanity living and farming in this great river basin. The climate here is governed by one of the world's most dramatic weather phenomena, the summer monsoon. After months of dry heat, moisture-laden winds sweep in from the Indian Ocean, bringing torrential rains that replenish the rivers and nourish the land. The sheer volume of this rainfall can be astonishing. In the far eastern corner of the plains, nestled in the hills of Meghalaya, lies the village of Mawsynram. It holds the title of the wettest inhabited place on Earth, receiving an average of over 11,800 millimeters of rain each year, a deluge that shapes every aspect of life for its inhabitants. Despite its life-giving properties, the water that defines the plains also presents immense challenges. The annual monsoon floods can be devastating, displacing millions of people and causing widespread damage to crops and infrastructure. The sheer density of the population places enormous strain on natural resources, particularly water. River pollution from industrial waste and urban sewage is a critical issue that threatens both human health and the delicate aquatic ecosystems. For the people of the plains, the rivers are both a blessing and a burden, a source of life and, at times, a force of destruction. Traveling west from the fertile plains, the landscape undergoes a dramatic transformation. The lush greenery gives way to an arid, sun-baked expanse of sand and scrub, the Thar Desert, also known as the Great Indian Desert. This is India's only true desert, a vast region of rolling sand dunes and rocky plains. Its sands are not born of the desert itself, but are ancient deposits from alluvial plains, shaped and reshaped by the relentless wind. The dunes are constantly in motion, shifting and migrating over time, creating a landscape that is both beautiful and inhospitable, a sea of golden sand under an endless sky. What makes the Thar Desert truly remarkable is that it is one of the most populated deserts in the world. Far from being an empty wasteland, it is home to around 30 million people. For centuries, communities have adapted to this challenging environment, developing a nomadic pastoralist lifestyle and finding ingenious ways to conserve precious water. Their vibrant culture, colorful textiles, and soul-stirring folk music stand in stark contrast to the monochrome palette of the desert landscape. It is a testament to human resilience that such a rich and lively culture can flourish in one of the harshest environments on the subcontinent. A modern engineering marvel has begun to reshape life in the Thar. The Indira Gandhi Canal, one of the longest canal systems in the world, is a monumental project designed to bring the waters of the Punjab rivers deep into the desert. Stretching over thousands of kilometers, this network of channels has transformed vast swaths of arid land. It now irrigates thousands of square kilometers, allowing for the cultivation of crops like mustard and wheat in places that were once barren sand. This has brought new opportunities but has also profoundly altered the desert's traditional way of life and its delicate ecosystem. The desert, however, is not a static entity. It is a dynamic landscape facing new pressures and undergoing surprising changes. The threat of desertification, where the desert expands into surrounding fertile lands due to overgrazing and unsustainable farming, is a constant concern. Yet, in a twist of fate, global warming appears to be altering monsoon patterns. In recent years, rainfall has increased in parts of Rajasthan, bringing more moisture closer to the desert's edge. This unexpected shift may offer new possibilities for afforestation and could, over time, begin to turn parts of the desert green again. Our journey now takes us south, to the vast triangular landmass that forms the core of the Indian subcontinent, the Peninsular Plateau. This is the oldest and most geologically stable part of India. While the Himalayas are young and restless, the rocks of this plateau are ancient, some dating back billions of years to a time when India was part of the supercontinent Gondwana, connected to Africa, Australia, and Antarctica. This plateau, also known as the Deccan Plateau, is not a single flat tableland, but a complex mosaic of hills, highlands, and river valleys, tilted gently from west to east. This ancient geology has blessed the region with immense mineral wealth. The plateau is a treasure trove of iron ore, coal, manganese, and bauxite, which has fueled India's industrial development for over a century. Great industrial cities and mining towns have sprung up across the region, drawing their existence from the riches buried deep within the earth. The landscape is also defined by the Western and Eastern Ghats, two mountain ranges that run along its coastal flanks. These ranges act as barriers, capturing monsoon rains and creating a drier rain shadow region in the plateau's interior, influencing where and how people can farm. The population distribution across the plateau is closely linked to the availability of water. The great rivers of southern India, such as the Godavari, Krishna, and Kaveri, rise in the Western Ghats and flow eastward across the plateau, carving out fertile valleys where agriculture can flourish. These river basins have become densely populated corridors of human settlement, while the drier uplands in between support a more sparse population, often reliant on rain-fed agriculture and pastoralism. The contrast between the vibrant, irrigated river valleys and the arid interior is a defining feature of life on the plateau. However, this ancient heartland is not without its modern struggles. The reliance on monsoon rains makes agriculture in the drier regions a precarious gamble, and years of drought can lead to widespread hardship for millions of farmers. The intense competition for river water between different states is a growing source of political tension. Furthermore, decades of mining have taken a heavy toll on the environment in certain areas, leading to deforestation, soil erosion, and pollution. Managing these precious resources sustainably is the critical challenge for the future of India's ancient and storied plateau. Having journeyed through India's monumental landscapes, we turn to the people who inhabit them. The country's new status as the world's most populous nation is a story of numbers, but the true wonder lies in its unparalleled human diversity. India is not a monolithic entity. It is a mosaic of countless cultures, languages, ethnicities, and religions, each shaped by the unique geography of its home region. This diversity is India's greatest strength and its most defining characteristic. From the Tibetan-influenced cultures of the Himalayas to the Dravidian traditions of the south, the subcontinent is home to a staggering array of human expression. This diversity is most evident in the languages spoken across the country. India has 22 official languages and hundreds of other languages and dialects that change every few dozen kilometers. A journey across the Indo-Gangetic Plains alone can take you through regions where people speak Hindi, Bengali, Punjabi, and numerous other tongues. This linguistic richness is a living library of history, reflecting waves of migration, the rise and fall of empires, and the deep-rooted connection of communities to their specific place on the map. It is a vibrant symphony of voices that tells the story of India's complex and layered past. Religious belief adds another profound layer to this human mosaic. While a majority of the population follows Hinduism, India is also home to one of the world's largest Muslim populations, as well as significant communities of Christians, Sikhs, Buddhists, and Jains. These faiths coexist, often side by side, creating a cultural landscape where sacred temples, grand mosques, historic churches, and serene gurdwaras are all part of the national fabric. This spiritual diversity has given rise to a rich tapestry of festivals, philosophies, and artistic traditions that have influenced the world for centuries, making India a global center of spiritual thought. The relationship between the people and their environment is the thread that ties this incredible diversity together. Whether it is the farmer timing his planting with the arrival of the monsoon, the herder guiding his flock through high mountain passes, or the fisherman casting his net in the coastal waters, life in India is a continuous dialogue with nature. This deep connection has fostered remarkable resilience and ingenuity. As India navigates its future as the world's most populous country, harnessing the potential of its diverse population while protecting the very landscapes that have nurtured it will be its most important and enduring task. Our journey across India, from the Himalayan peaks to the ancient southern plateau, reveals a fundamental truth. The nation's destiny is inseparable from its geography. The sheer scale of its population, now the largest on Earth, is not just a statistic, but a direct consequence of its life-giving landscapes, particularly the fertile Indo-Gangetic plains that have sustained immense human numbers for millennia. The mountains, rivers, plains, and deserts have not only determined where people live, but have also profoundly shaped who they are, forging a dazzling array of cultures uniquely adapted to their surroundings. This intricate bond between people and place is the very essence of India. The future path for India is paved with both extraordinary opportunity and significant challenges, both of which are rooted in its geography and demography. Its youthful population represents a massive demographic dividend, a potential engine for economic growth and innovation unlike any other in the world. If this vast human resource can be educated, skilled, and provided with opportunities, India could become a dominant force in the global economy. However, providing for 1.4 billion people places immense pressure on the land, water, and air, making sustainable development not just a goal, but an absolute necessity for survival. The challenges are formidable. The receding Himalayan glaciers threaten the water supply for hundreds of millions. The increasing intensity of monsoons and droughts, amplified by climate change, puts farmers and city dwellers at risk. The demand for energy and resources from a growing economy must be balanced against the urgent need to protect fragile ecosystems and reduce pollution. How India manages these environmental pressures will not only determine its own future, but will also have a significant impact on the health of our entire planet. The scale of India's challenges mirrors the scale of its population. Ultimately, the story of India is one of resilience and perpetual motion. It is a nation built on an ancient geological foundation, yet constantly reshaped by the forces of nature in the hands of its people. As it steps into its new role on the world stage, its greatest task will be to navigate the delicate balance between the aspirations of its billion-plus citizens and the limits of its precious environment. The path forward will require immense wisdom, innovation, and a deep respect for the diverse landscapes that have, for thousands of years, made India the incredible, complex, and vibrant human world it is today.